On January 4, 2024, two skilled divers, Christopher Godet and Frederic Pochet, prepared for a technical night dive at Plate Taille Reservoir. Although known as a popular diving destination in Belgium, this lake also serves as a key part of the country's hydroelectric infrastructure, specifically the Plate Taille Dam, which stretches 790 meters across the water. This reservoir belongs to a network of 5 man-made lakes in the Wallonia region, forming the largest artificial freshwater system in Belgium. Constructed during the 1970s, the system was created by redirecting the Odeur River to fill the expansive lakes. This required the development of 5 separate dams, one of which, the Plate Taille Dam, feeds water directly into the reservoir, where the 2 divers would descend that fateful evening. The Plate Taille Reservoir covers approximately 351 hectares, offering a range of recreational activities including water skiing, sailing, snorkeling, and of course, diving. Multiple dive schools operate throughout the area, and a dive facility is situated near the base of the dam. But Christopher and Frederic weren't participating in lessons. They were highly trained and seeking to explore parts of the lake that most recreational divers never dared venture. The reservoir features submerged attractions placed intentionally, like a decommissioned bus and helicopter, positioned at various depths to draw interest from divers. Yet, due to the volume of visitors and the proximity to a live dam, local authorities had marked 2 zones for safe diving, Zone A and Zone B, each with a maximum safe diving radius of 150 meters. Any area outside those zones was declared strictly off-limits, especially since the dam's turbines could activate at random, triggered by unpredictable energy demands from the surrounding grid. The dam houses have 4 turbines, each capable of pulling in water at up to 400 cubic meters per second. This raw power posed extreme danger, and no one could ever predict when the turbines would engage. To minimize risk further, the dive center also imposed a depth restriction. No dives were allowed below 20 meters. At that limit, divers could still hear the turbines begin to run, giving them a chance to ascend before danger drew closer. However, there was a critical safety flaw. The turbine inlets had no protective grates. These barriers had existed in the past, but were removed due to excessive wear. The high-pressure flow and relentless vibrations caused damage so quickly that the grates required replacement every 2 to 3 months. Eventually, the operators gave up on reinstalling them altogether. Christopher, a banker from Liège, was affiliated with a local diving club. Both he and Frederic held PADI certifications, including open water and enriched air qualifications. Their credentials made what happened next even more confusing, because their decisions went against all known safety protocol. Their dive began at approximately 5 p.m. after local schools and facilities had closed for the day. Instead of standard gear, the 2 were equipped with closed-circuit rebreathers. These systems recycle exhaled air through a CO2 scrubber, filtering it and reintroducing oxygen automatically. Unlike open-circuit systems, which release every breath into the water, closed-circuit equipment significantly reduces gas waste and allows for far longer dive durations, but requires more precision and expertise. Along with the rebreathers, they brought diving propulsion vehicles, also known as underwater scooters. These handheld devices rapidly move divers by pushing water behind them, letting them glide long distances without exhausting themselves. When used together, closed-circuit systems and scooters, it became clear these divers weren't just going deep, they were going far, and based on their trajectory, it appeared, they may have been heading toward the dam itself, an area completely outside safe bounds. Divers with experience know the term delta P, short for differential pressure. It's a phenomenon that occurs when large amounts of water are forced through narrow openings. The result is an intense suction effect, a pressure difference that can trap, immobilize, or instantly pull anything nearby. No diver, regardless of strength or equipment, can resist it, and in a lake tied to 4 massive turbines, that risk becomes lethal. As they descended into the growing darkness, the surface sounds faded completely. At 20 meters, they crossed the recommended limit, but instead of turning back, they went deeper. 30 meters, 35, then 40. At that point, the dam's intake tunnel would have come into view, a structure ominously waiting in silence. At this depth, the ambient pressure was already 4 times that of sea level. Still, there were no alarms, no warnings. Then, a low rumble began to vibrate through the water. The turbines were switching on. 3 out of the 4 massive pumps activated simultaneously, creating a combined suction of 106 cubic meters per second. There was no time to escape. In a flash, both men were drawn toward the intake tunnel. Within seconds, they were dragged from a depth of 50 meters to 70 meters, powerless against the flow. Their propulsion devices couldn't match the current. They were pulled, helplessly, into the turbine system. When Frederick's son couldn't reach him, he went to the lake the next morning. One of the cars was still parked. He called the authorities immediately. The Belgian Civil Protection Unit and Disaster Victim Identification Team launched a search. 10 expert divers were deployed, supported by sonar technology and aerial surveillance. Despite low visibility and worsening weather, they pushed forward. During the first sweep, the team located debris, damaged rebreathers, torn vests, and broken scooters. While not yet confirmed, these items were believed to belong to the missing divers. The manager of the nearby dive center, Benoit Michel, confirmed that the turbines had been active that day. Speculation turned into grim expectation. Still, Frederick's son held hope. He believed his father's swimming ability could have saved him. An Olympic swimmer can reach speeds of 2.36 meters per second. The turbine's suction, on the other hand, reached up to 30 meters per second. Even their scooters could only manage 2.8 meters per second at best. The math made one thing certain: they never stood a chance. Even if protective barriers had been in place, they would have trapped the divers against them, leading to drowning under extreme suction. Escape would still have been impossible. As hours passed and rainfall worsened conditions, the operation pressed on. At around 10 a.m., 46 hours after the incident, body parts were recovered downstream from the dam. Later that day, more human remains were located along the shoreline. An autopsy later confirmed. The remains belonged to Christopher Godet and Frederick Pochet. Even now, no one knows whether the men intended to explore the dam, or if they wandered too close by accident. Their experience, however, suggested they understood the risks. Regardless of their motives, the outcome was devastating. The Plate Taille Dam tragedy stands as a chilling reminder of how easily adventure can spiral into horror. When safety limits are ignored and natural forces are underestimated,